The world of mixed martial arts, MMA, has produced some of the most intense and unforgettable rivalries in sports history. These rivalries are built on fierce competition, clashing personalities, and a desire to prove who is the best. Today, we're counting down the 10 greatest MMA rivalries of all time, showcasing epic battles that have left a lasting impact on the sport. Each fight on this list has its own unique story and unforgettable moments. Before diving in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Number 10. Ronda Rousey vs. Miesha Tate. Kicking off the list is the legendary rivalry between Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. Their clash began in 2012 when Rousey, a rising star in MMA, challenged Tate for the Strikeforce bantamweight title. Tate initially dismissed Rousey's abilities, but Rousey submitted her in the first round with a signature armbar. The feud intensified with a war of words on social media, escalating the tension between them. In their rematch at UFC 168, Rousey once again submitted Tate via armbar, solidifying her dominance. Despite their differences, this rivalry significantly elevated women's MMA, bringing it into the mainstream spotlight and paving the way for future female fighters. Number 9. Frank Mir vs. Brock Lesnar. The heavyweight rivalry between Frank Mir and Brock Lesnar is one of the most memorable in UFC history. Lesnar, a former WWE superstar, debuted in the UFC against seasoned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist Frank Mir at UFC 81 in 2008. Despite Lesnar's power and size, Mir submitted him with a knee bar, shocking the MMA world. However, Lesnar rebounded with victories, setting up a rematch at UFC 100. This time, Lesnar dominated with ferocious ground and pound, securing a second-round TKO win and claiming the UFC heavyweight title. Their rivalry became an iconic part of heavyweight MMA history, showcasing contrasting fighting styles and personalities that fascinated fans worldwide. Number 8. Wanderlei Silva vs. Quinton Rampage Jackson. The rivalry between Wanderlei Silva and Quinton Rampage. Jackson stands as one of the bloodiest in MMA history. Their first fight in the Pride Middleweight Grand Prix in 2003 ended with Silva delivering devastating knees to Jackson, forcing a referee stoppage. The bad blood led to a rematch in 2004, with Silva once again knocking out Jackson in brutal fashion. By the time of their third fight at UFC 92, tensions had reached new heights. This time, Jackson got his revenge, knocking Silva out cold with a powerful left hook. The violent and heated nature of their clashes cemented this rivalry as one of the most unforgettable in MMA. Number 7. Chuck Liddell vs. Tito Ortiz. The rivalry between Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz remains one of the most famous in UFC history. Ortiz was initially reluctant to fight Liddell due to their past as teammates, but Liddell was eager for the match and accused Ortiz of ducking him. They finally squared off at UFC 47 in 2004, where Liddell knocked out Ortiz in the second round, delivering the first KO loss of Ortiz's career. Afterward, Ortiz went on a win streak, leading to a rematch at UFC 66 in 2006. Liddell once again won via TKO. Their trilogy concluded in 2018 under Golden Boy MMA, where Ortiz knocked out a 49-year-old Liddell, finally earning his revenge. Number 6. Urijah Faber vs. Dominick Cruz. The long-standing rivalry between Urijah Faber and Dominick Cruz spanned more than a decade. Their first encounter was at WEC 26 in 2007, where Faber, the reigning bantamweight champion, submitted Cruz in the first round. Cruz didn't take the loss lightly, fueling a bitter feud that continued for years. They met again in 2011 at UFC 132, where Cruz avenged his loss, defeating Faber by unanimous decision. The rivalry reached its peak when they coached opposite each other on The Ultimate Fighter, exchanging heated insults. The trilogy concluded at UFC 199 in 2016, where Cruz once again beat Faber, cementing his dominance in their storied rivalry. Number 5. Georges St-Pierre vs. BJ Penn. The rivalry between Georges St-Pierre and BJ Penn brought together two of the UFC's greatest champions. Their first fight at UFC 58 in 2006 was a highly competitive bout, with St-Pierre winning via split decision. Many fans felt Penn should have won, creating demand for a rematch. This took place at UFC 94 in 2009, where both entered as champions in their respective weight classes. St-Pierre dominated the fight with superior wrestling, and Penn's corner threw in the towel after the fourth round. This victory solidified St-Pierre's place as one of the greatest fighters of all time, while their rivalry went down as one of the most significant in MMA history. Number 4. Nate Diaz vs. Conor McGregor. One of the most entertaining rivalries in MMA was between Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. Their first fight at UFC 196 in 2016 shocked the world when Diaz, a late replacement, submitted McGregor with a rear naked choke in the second round. The upset loss was McGregor's first in the UFC, turning their rivalry into one of the most anticipated rematches in UFC history. The build-up to UFC 202 was chaotic, with both fighters' camps clashing at press conferences. In their rematch, McGregor won via majority decision in a 5-round war, evening the score. This rivalry captivated fans with its unpredictable outcomes and the fiery personalities of both fighters, making it one of the most talked about in MMA history. Number 3. Anderson Silva vs. Chael Sonnen. Anderson Silva vs. Chael Sonnen was a rivalry defined by stark contrasts in personality and fighting styles. Sonnen's aggressive wrestling and relentless trash-talking clashed with Silva's calm demeanor and striking mastery. Their first fight at UFC 117 in 2010 was unforgettable. Sonnen dominated Silva for nearly 5 rounds, but Silva pulled off a last-minute triangle choke submission to retain his title. Afterward, Sonnen continued his verbal attacks on Silva, leading to a highly anticipated rematch at UFC 148 in 2012. This time, Silva decisively won by TKO in the second round, putting an end to the rivalry. The combination of Sonnen's bravado and Silva's dramatic comebacks made this rivalry one of the most memorable in the history of the sport. Number 2. Conor McGregor vs. Khabib Nurmagomedov. The rivalry between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov is one of the most intense in MMA history. The feud began when McGregor attacked a bus carrying Khabib and other fighters during a UFC 223 media event, which led to McGregor's arrest. The incident set the stage for their fight at UFC 229, which became one of the most highly anticipated bouts in MMA history. Khabib dominated McGregor in the octagon, submitting him with a rear naked choke in the 4th round. However, the drama continued after the fight as Khabib jumped out of the octagon to confront McGregor's team, sparking a massive brawl. The combination of personal animosity and high stakes made this rivalry unforgettable, ensuring its place as one of the greatest in UFC history. Number 1. Jon Jones vs. Daniel Cormier. At the top of the list is the heated rivalry between Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier, two of the UFC's most decorated fighters. Their feud began well before their first meeting at UFC 182 in 2015, with both fighters trading insults and threats in the media. Jones won that fight by unanimous decision, but soon after, he was stripped of his title due to legal issues. Cormier claimed the vacant light heavyweight title, setting the stage for a rematch at UFC 214 in 2017. Jones won the rematch by knockout, but the victory was overturned after Jones tested positive for steroids. The rivalry became deeply personal, with Cormier questioning Jones' character and Jones responding with taunts. Despite Jones's repeated suspensions, their rivalry has left an indelible mark on the sport, showcasing the highest level of competition in MMA history. These rivalries have defined the sport of MMA, creating unforgettable moments that fans will talk about for years to come. Which rivalry do you think was the most intense? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated on all things MMA. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.